been big brothered, and now you must leave the house. Sure, I know that one.
I'm not sure they say you've been big brothered.
Missed opportunity.
If you're wondering whose voice that is, we have a guest this week, a very special guest in-house.
Literally in the house.
Literally in the house.
Yeah, we're not in the cabine. Still a little bit muddy on that lawn.
Yeah, it's not conducive. It's not conducive to good things. Here's a good thing. This is Blighty Day Fiance. My name is Michelle. Him indoors. My husband over there is Robin.
Hello.
And with us today is director, actor, performer, writer, editor, Jill of all trades, musician, all around talented gal, and now she is also a clown officially.
Are you officially a clown?
I mean, I don't know that I don't subscribe to clown gatekeeping. I don't know. Did I go to clown school? Depends who you ask.
I mean, is there a register?
How do you identify? Do you identify as a clown?
I have been. It took a while, but I just do it now. I do it now. Yeah.
We should probably say your name. Did I say your name? I don't even think I did.
I don't know. You said a lot of stuff. That was like things I do. And I was like listening to the list and was like, wow, how could somebody be good at so many things? Oh, well, I mean, I could be like mediocre at that many, like.
But you're good at all of them.
Bleh. Emerald.
Yeah.
That's my name.
Her name is Emerald. This is the only reality TV recap podcast hosted by a married, heterosexual, monogamous, transatlantic couple based in London. Why do we include all of that information? Because we talk about other people's relationships all the time. It's kind of our thing. We cover reality TV. Shows that are based upon relationships, romantic, familial, and otherwise. Ideally not romantic familial. We're not covering, I made that joke last week. I'm not going to do it again. That's okay. That is okay. Today,
You can't get MILF Manor out of your head, can you?
the fact that
Emerald, there's a show called, do you want to explain what MILF Manor is?
MILF Manor is... I haven't watched a single episode of it, but it's about a group of sexy moms, I guess, who date each other's sons.
They're all living together and they're like, you should fuck my son tonight. And like the next day, so how big's my son's? It's ridiculous.
I don't think it's that extreme, but apparently there was, it maybe in the first episode, all the moms had to watch their sons demonstrate a sex act on a piece of fruit.
Okay. Well, when you said MILF Manor, I did assume like a house of MILFs.
Right. You didn't think their sons would be there, did you?
The sons would all be involved.
Do you want to know what's even worse?
Worse?
Yeah.
I guess. No, I mean, tell me.
Dilf Manor.
No, that sounds better. Wait, is it daughters or is it sons?
It's daughters.
No, that is worse than
Yeah.
What's the age? This is a sidebar. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
What's the age range for like a MILF?
I don't know.
Well,
I wouldn't be able to comment.
I mean, it's really upsetting. Like in porn terms, I think you're a MILF once you're like 23.
Okay.
That's the problem.
I've just been feeling like I've like squarely landed in MILF territory, and I don't like that.
No.
To think, right? I mean, if that were a thing, if someone were to was like trying to, the search terms to find there's no porn of me. Sorry. But like, the Emerald lookalike on Pornhub, they would have to look for MILF porn at this point, I think, which is just weird to me.
Yeah, it's horrifying, but porn is horrifying in the sense that, like, you're no longer. Yeah, once you hit mid-20s, those are the roles you're getting.
Yeah.
Anyway,
MILF Manor.
you'll be pleased to hear we're not covering the adult film industry. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's just not our turf. I would find it very hard to speak about that with any authority because I don't know anything about it except what I watched on the Deuce, the Juice.
I'm going to say the Deuce.
The Deuce.
Yeah.
Deuce Bigelow, male gigolo.
Right. If you say it wrong, it's the Jews. It's a very different show.
That's a porn I would watch. Provided it was all kosher.
You can't. Okay, but you can't speak on porn with any authority. Is that like a sub thing? You see what I'm saying? Because the authority figure. Okay, it's not MILF Manor. Let's move on.
No, today we're talking about 90 Day Fiance the other way. And we're part of the reason we're excited to have Emerald as a guest today is because she's one of those rare folks who just doesn't watch TV, which is probably why she's so talented and gets so much done.
And yet when you talk to her about TV, she has watched it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always the way with people that are like, I don't watch TV.
I don't watch I don't watch reality television and I don't really watch TV unless I'm sick, but then when I'm sick, I will watch TV for like 16 hours a day for like a week and a half. So it kind of all is
it balances out, I suppose.
Yeah, how often are you sick?
Well,
every day from 6 p.m. to midnight.
I got a twisted mind. No, I wasn't sick for the entirety of the pandemic until I started going to class again, and I've been sick 3 times since September. So,
oh God.
Were you doing clown things during the pandemic, or is that a more recent thing?
I started doing that stuff in May of 2022. I was pretty locked down for the first 2 years or so. It was pretty.
I can't imagine what like socially distanced clowning would look like.
There's a lot of stuff on Zoom.
Zoom clowning.
Yeah.
What? I can totally see that. At least you're performing something on your own. It's better than Zoom improv.
Oh,
which I have no idea how that works.
Badly. But I was like working a full-time desk job, so I wasn't going to sit in front of my computer more. You know what I mean? Anyway,
never seen an episode of any 90 Day show until today.
Correct.
Very sorry.
What were your first impressions?
And also thrilled.
My first impression, well, I don't know that I can recall. Now I've had like a day to think about it, but it feels like the people, I was just, it's like these couples, it seems like they've been chosen. It's like, is it like the joy of watching it, like the pleasure you get from like judging other people? Because they clearly like have issues and stuff. Is it good to feel better than other people? Or is it like a chance to reflect on yourself? Like, why do I care what they do? Or like, why does this bother me? I don't know. But also like a lot of it to me is like, I just wanted to be like, run away, run now, run quickly, therapy bills. That's like
No.
No, you have very succinctly, like those are all the reasons we watch this. We watch it to feel better about ourselves. We watch it to understand other people better. We watch it to understand ourselves better. And that's why I think that's probably why I fight so hard to legitimize reality TV. Some reality TV. Not MILF Manor.
No.
If you enjoy MILF Manor, that's that is fine. You're still welcome here. There's embracement for everybody here.
Yeah.
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 So should we talk about the show?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Here we go.
Who should we start with? I think we are just going to go in the order of people I hate the most. No, I'm kidding. I was looking for sort of the shortest one. Let's start with Danielle and Johan. So Danielle,
I mean, she is the shortest one.
she is the shortest one.
Yeah.
They did sort of like a wide shot, and Emerald said, "Is she standing up?"
Yeah.
So look,
And yet, weirdly, their height is not the most mismatched thing about them.
no. So just to recap, for the benefit of our guest who hasn't been on this very long Danielle and Johan journey, this is the couple who are in the Dominican Republic. They're having a conversation about how having a friend of the opposite sex is or is not appropriate when you're married or in a relationship.
You know what I found really interesting about this from like a production point of view? This commenced exactly where it left off last week. And I don't think I've ever seen like a conversational cliffhanger on a 90-day show like that before. Do you remember they were having that conversation in the bar? And then it just carried on this week. No different scene, no different setting, just...
Are you sure? Because they do have the same conversations over and over sometimes.
No, I'm pretty sure.
So,
yeah.
okay.
It was just weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Danielle, I think this is an interesting topic because, and we may have spoken about this last week. I'm friends with quite a few of my exes. I'm maybe not as close to them as I once was, but not because I'm married. And I don't think you'd have a problem with me spending time with any of my exes.
No, I wouldn't. And also, she invited him along and wanted him to be there.
Right.
Right? If he'd wanted to go and she said, no, I think you need to like clean the meat tonight, get the flies off the meat, you're busy, then that would have been much more shady. But she wasn't trying to hide anything. How many times on these shows have we seen people hiding things?
Sure.
But it almost feels like I'm defending Danielle, and I will never do that. Because what she's doing is rubbing his nose in it, right? Emerald's put on a red nose.
Who was just over there? Yeah. I feel like, I don't know, it's weird to me, that kind of it's just like sort of this like lack of trust. Oh, I can't stop doing the Garth Brooks gesture, but it.
So is that a Garth Brooks gesture?
Oh yeah,
specifically for lack of trust.
No, you have to explain it now.
There's
it's
light.
Good.
Garth Brooks, I think he said it's like everything has a light side and a dark side.
What?
And he has one hand facing forwards in front of his face and one hand facing his face, like he's looking at his palm and he's looking at the back of his hand. A light side, and then he flips him around and looks at the other palm and the other back of his hand, and a dark side. Oh, every situation has a light side and a dark side.
This is the country singer Garth Brooks.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Was this the alter ego that he had? Do you remember?
This was not Chris Gaines.
Did you ever see them in the same place at the same time? Did he ever support himself on tour?
I've never seen a Garth Brooks show. No, she's asking. Danielle, the small woman, is it's this issue of like trust, right? Sort of for a lot of people, or maybe it's like an ego thing. I don't know.
I think what we haven't mentioned yet in this is that like we're all ostensibly fine with people seeing their exes, but culturally, for Johann, this is verboten. This is not something that people in relationships do. It's not something that people who are married do. Not having friends of other genders, but continuing to be friends with somebody with whom you previously had a romantic relationship with. And he says that there will be consequences to her maintaining a relationship with this guy.
I love that.
But the thing that he doesn't say is what the consequences are, and that was like made it super threatening. He's like, "You'll find out what the consequences are."
It's
and like,
smart.
No, it's terrible. How and also it makes me. How old is? They show their ages like once. How old is that guy?
I think he's like
younger
30.
than her.
Yeah,
30.
Yeah.
Ish.
Still, that's okay. I guess it's a.
So what's happened consistently in this relationship is like
it's her way or no way.
It's emasculation. She has just relentlessly emasculated a man from a country where that is very challenging. And this is kind of the worm turning a bit. Like he's realized he has an opportunity to make her afraid for the first time. And he's taking it. It's beyond toxic. It's awful. But I think as a viewer, you're meant to watch it and go, yeah, don't tell her what the consequences are. Make her think it's going to be something out of a Saw movie.
Yeah.
Let's hope it's not a head box.
Oh no.
A head box?
Can I talk about the head box?
See, that's the direction. If that's how you want your night to go, then for sure.
Is this something that what's her name? Chris might have to wear after her surgery?
It's something that if you are sensitive to true crime sort of stuff, just fast forward about a minute and a half. So trigger warning, potentially gruesome things. So
or claustrophobic.
Yes. Thank you for thinking of the claustrophobics. So
won't somebody please think of the claustrophobic?
Hey, I mean, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
We were watching Unsolved Mysteries earlier, and as per usual, I thought I'll pick one that's about ghosts because we can watch it with Alfie and it won't be an issue because it's not going to be, like something with sexual violence in it.
Wrong.
I was wrong.
Is it a sexy ghost?
Had to fast forward through quite a few details. One of the details I didn't fast forward through was something called a head box. And what's weird is that it is what it sounds like. It's a box that goes around your head so that people can't hear you scream.
Yeah,
that is not what it sounded like.
It's filled with like foam, like styrofoam, like noise,
soundproof, noise reduction
foam,
stuff.
and it's like a hinged box, and it has a neck-sized hole in it, and then you just put it over the head and lock it shut.
You see, when you said a head box, I thought it might be something that you strap to your groin, and someone has to put their head. That's what I thought.
No,
but that also sounds awful.
Yeah.
What I found remarkable about it, aside from the fact that the guy who built it is about to go on parole, I think he probably needs to be in jail forever. I'm going to say, like, even after he's dead, just keep him in the jail to make sure that in case something happens where people can be reanimated.
Yeah.
Like,
this is consenting, right? No one has put the head box on.
No, it's important to mention that
it's
the head box is not. The crime was not building the head box.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, we don't have to go too into the head box was not optional for the person wearing it.
Right.
So
what was amazing about the head box is the way, and we're doing it too, that everybody just went, "Oh, it's head box." Yeah, it's just a head box.
Sure, head box.
We just call it a head box, and the head box is in the lexicon now. And now we all just talk about the head box like head boxes are a thing,
But
and not like it's like this insane contraption invented by a lunatic. It's just a head box. When he built the head box, we all what?
right, and it's just people take it.
I got a Versace head box. Everyone's got them. People are competing now over the... No? It's not a thing.
That joke was so offensive. The dog barked.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, it was.
Is he going to end up on Lalu when he gets paroled?
God, I hope not. Anyway, all right, we're done talking about
right.
the
The
head
head
box. Sorry.
Do you think those are the consequences Johan has in mind, though?
No.
I hope that the consequences are just that he cries really hard.
That'd be
And is really hurt. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
But I don't think that they will be. I think it will be the opposite of that, you know?
You think he's going to get angry?
Angry or like silent treatment or something really equally nasty.
He might turn into a bat.
Something that occurred to me while we were watching the sort of, the trailer during the credits is that Danielle was crying and sort of saying in her heavily accented Spanish, I do this, everything I do is for you. This is all for you. And I wonder, I think she thinks that she actually is loving toward him. I never thought before that moment that she thinks that what she's doing is helping and improving his life and that she behaves in a way that is loving toward him.
But now you can transpose that onto other people. It's possible that Bryan Adams was full of shit too. Right? Now I've heard someone say that and clearly not be truthful. Now I'm thinking, fucking hell, was that
the
a
theme
really
song to Robin Hood Prince of Thieves
Yeah.
alive?
Wait a minute, that wasn't Brian. That was Richard Marx, wasn't it?
No, it's Bryan
It was
Adams.
Bryan
Why?
Adams.
Which one was Richard Marx?
Hazard.
What?
The one about drowning the woman at the creek or whatever. It was grim.
Yeah, Bryan Adams did the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves soundtrack,
Yeah.
and then
Look
just kind of
into
quit
my
music, and then he became a successful photographer in Canada.
Number one for 13 weeks in this country, I believe. I think we've spoken about
I
it
really
before.
like that song.
But
Man,
yeah,
shame
but
to
now...
admit it.
I sang it at karaoke one time at a Chinese restaurant in Philadelphia, and the man who owned the restaurant came up. The restaurant was empty, and he still came up and just closed the door so that he wouldn't have to listen to it downstairs.
Aww.
Well, he knows it's a song
I think he
sung
was
by a...
moved,
No.
No. Wait, can you sing the Philly song from earlier, the new Philly
I think
song?
it goes, we're Philly, we're fucking Philly, no one likes us, we don't care, like that.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
No one likes us, we don't care is a sporting... That's a good sporting mindset.
It's very Philadelphia.
I think Millwall in this country also sing no one likes us, we don't care. Yeah, Bryan
Millwall
Adams,
will-
coercive and controlling. Maybe.
Why would you say that? Why would you make that allegation?
Because he's saying the same toxic stuff Danielle is saying.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's just made me think about that song in a whole new light. Anyway, what did y'all think of her sitting on him
I mean,
to stop him driving?
I thought, I hated it, but it did keep him from drunk driving. So
I reckon he could have still driven with her sitting on him, though.
yeah, she's not
She's
very
so
tall.
little.
Yeah.
You know what?
She can't reach the pedals down there. He's got arms long enough to get round her into the wheel. What's the problem?
I think if she sat on his face, it would have been a lot more effective. And I'm sorry to put that image in everyone's head.
Or like anything to get out of that situation. Yeah, fine, you can drive. Yeah.
I just thought, like, these guys are both a mess. That
Yeah.
was really what that looked like to me.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm going to drive drunk. No, you're not. I'll just sit on you. And then, like, we'll yell at each other in a parking lot. And it's like,
kind of
you guys are
incredible.
both a mess.
Yeah.
And, like, honestly, I mean, not specifically there, but basically I've been there. So, you know.
Stand in front of the car. That would also work. I guess he could reverse.
Yeah.
It's very hard if someone's doing that. But to me, it looked like someone's Uber rating just dramatically dropping. It's like there's a passenger seat lady sitting there. It was very odd.
Can I tell a really disgusting story?
I think that's what we're doing today. Apologies for anyone used to our usual.
I know we're
This
usually
must be
pretty
me.
tame. I mean, you know, bad words and all that, but we don't normally talk about head boxes
And MILF manners.
and milk.
Oh, we talk about that.
I'm gonna have to spend a little bit of time thinking about why is DILF manner worse than MILF manner?
It just is.
It just is.
It just is.
Yeah.
There's some kind of thing there.
Yeah.
So talking of face sitting and things like it. Again, trigger warning if you don't want to hear about a sex act, or if you know the description of that is inappropriate. Anyway, remember how I told you that I slept with my improv teacher?
That's what people do.
So this is the only time that this ever happened to me, thank God. But I was performing a sex act on him where I was, you know,
Wow.
I'm talking about, this is how bad I am at talking about stuff like this. I was this is how we talk around it in our house when there is a child present. I was enjoying a bologna jamwich,
Yeah. Were you looking for your contact lens?
a BJ. I wasn't looking for my contact
Were
lens.
you helping him look for his contact lens?
Yes, I was helping him look for his contact lens.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he farted in my face.
If you try hard enough, you can make a fart come out of your mouth. If you squeeze hard, you know it's coming. You can just force it out the other way. You can turn a fart into a burp.
That's not how bodies work.
I'm just saying, fucking try.
Yeah, but try. Make the effort.
It's the gas equivalent of turning a frown upside down.
The worst part was
The smell?
Yeah. The noise.
The humiliation?
I just didn't.
You didn't say anything, did you?
How
Did you harmonize?
could I? Well, no, I had a dick in my mouth.
A bologna jamwich.
Bologna sandwich in my mouth. And I just,
Ew.
it's one of the few situations in my life where I just absolutely, like, there's nothing that prepares you for that.
It's a compliment, surely.
Well, it might,
To the chef?
It's just like, it's
No, 'cause
rude not to burp in some countries when you're eating, right?
it was a simultaneous release, if you get what I'm saying.
Oh,
Right. So
Oh,
I
right.
really don't think he had, like, you talk about, oh, you can control it. I think probably he was that relaxed, but it was, thank God he wasn't
was it long, or was it just a burp, or was it a long?
penis.
No, not the penis.
The bologna jamwich.
The fart. The fart.
The
Was
fart.
it a long, protracted? Was it like an untied balloon let free, or was it stepping on a wasp?
Well, because it was such a significant moment in my life,
Here we go.
I have committed it to. Oh, Emerald's got a prop.
Was it one of those?
No, it was more like
Right, let's see if we can do that. Come on. Yeah, one of those.
Yeah, it was closer to that, but it was like rumblier, wetter, thicker.
Oh, wetter, great.
Yeah.
This is the clown. You get a clown, and then you don't know what's going to happen.
That's right. You don't go anywhere without a balloon. Anyone else? You've got like a rubber kind of thing that you keep in your handbag just in case you need it. In your case, it's a balloon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got all kinds of nothing useful.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, that'll do for Debbie and Johan.
Yeah, I think that pretty much.
Debbie's not her name. It's
Shit.
Danielle.
Danielle, yeah.
I do feel like that pretty much sums them
Ooh.
up, though.
I'd like Debbie and Johan. That would work.
Who's
Yeah.
Debbie?
Debbie's the older, the seasoned gal.
We better go
with
on
the
to her,
young
seeing as
poet.
how
Oh,
I made a
yeah.
boo-boo.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. No, I don't. That might be too much woman for Johan to be frank with you guys. I don't know if he could handle
You're
too much
so
woman for him.
tall.
I would have to agree with you there. Debbie and Oshama, they go to a cafe for a poetry event. Debbie is surprised and touched that Osama is getting up and performing a poem that he has dedicated to her,
Her fiance. His fiance, yeah.
You know what? There's nothing for me to snark on here because I actually thought that was generous and beautiful, and it was a really nice romantic gesture.
Can we snark on some of the facial hair of some of the hipsters in the cafe? Maybe.
Is there someone you're thinking of in particular?
All of them. It was the most poetry jammed. I didn't think that you would find a scene like that there. But I like it. I like it. They all seemed happy.
They seem very judgmental of his poem. They seemed like.
Did they?
I saw some people making some like amateur faces, but I thought the poem was actually quite good.
No, the poem that came before was Doggerel.
Yeah, it was like that was like a. I do poetry.
Yeah, it was, and my heart now flies like a bird. It was absolute dreck.
As was. My inner child was weeping.
Yeah.
My inner child is bleeding. That was the opening poem, I think.
Yeah.
Although we didn't hear the whole thing, maybe it had an interesting ending. But look,
Probably a head
I
box.
think actually he is. I think he's really talented, and I like his art too.
It was really cute. He seemed so nervous that his poem seemed good, but he was so nervous that he said it in like 20 seconds. You know,
Yeah,
which was like very cute because
I don't think he's used to performing. Like,
I don't think
he's
he
not
had
that-
ever performed.
No, they're in
before.
Rabat, right?
Yeah,
But he ain't from Rabat. He's from the Moroccan equivalent of Boise, Idaho, at best, right?
well, we haven't really looked into it. The only thing
gonna
that we
find out
know
next
is
week.
is his description, which is he said it's the place to go when you're dying. and we don't know whether that means like you're dying so it doesn't matter where you are, or you would want to die there because it's so beautiful and
Yeah, like it's a
peaceful.
bucket list thing or a slaughterhouse. We don't know. It
Or
could be
like
either.
Florida.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
See Florida and die.
You know, I was surprised to learn this week that out of like I think the top 10 most expensive places to live, like most expensive neighborhoods in the US, like 4 of them are in Florida.
that makes sense to me. Like rich retirees. I mean, it's weird, but it makes sense.
Yeah. And I guess they're pretty lax on tax there, I feel like.
Yeah, well, people retire down there, like rich people, because the weather is nice aside from the hurricanes.
Unless you're Disney.
And then what?
Disney tax thing happening. Or is that in California? That's Florida, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
I moved to Germany and now I don't try not to follow the news so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you on that.
Well, I liked it. I think before he even said it himself, I was quite proud of myself because he did his poem and I said, aloud to the room, see actions,
Yeah.
right? And then he went, see actions.
Yes. And a lot of men on this show
They never
are
do actions.
all talk and
never do
and
actions.
no walk.
But that was actually actions. That was him actually doing something. And I thought he would. You see, he from the start he came across as someone who would say all the right things. He's a smooth talker. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a poet. Hold my bones.
Right. But you know, he did a thing. Hold my bones.
Was in the poem, right?
Yeah, it was. It was in the poem.
Hold my bones.
Hold my bones. Yes.
Well, that could be misconstrued.
I think you need to get your mind out of the gutter.
It's all this MILF Manor talk.
I know. He's excited.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. We owe him that. I owe him that.
Yeah.
Say we owe him
Have they
that.
ever put the MILFs on an island? Or has it only ever been a manor?
I think it is an island. I think it's probably, I mean, these things are usually in a tropical setting.
Safer that way.
The sons are sort of swimming around the island, pursued by sharks.
Right. So let's.
The only way to get out of the shark-infested water is if one of the MILFs invites you into her hammocky tent thing.
And speaking of things that have to keep moving forward or they'll die, let's talk about Nicole and Mahmoud.
We got progress this week.
We did.
It's the
finally.
The same beat was beaten, but it was beaten, with a different side of the drumstick.
So just to recap, Nicole says she's been there for 4 months and they have decided to stop talking about their problems in order to great way to prevent arguments.
Healthy.
It certainly doesn't come out in other ways when you don't talk about your problems. Mm-hmm. She reveals that she spends 12 days locked in a room, or 12 hours locked in a room every day, which can't be good for anyone's mental health. She attends a women-only meditation class and meets Nuran, her friend who tells her about New Cairo. And I'm not going to lie, I thought there was going to be a musical number here. Because it just
Cairo.
Yeah, it just felt like it felt like a scene from a play where like this thing is, this magic is revealed.
It's up to you. New No.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah, it's good. New Cairo's all right.
Sounds like a nice place to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, she says
Unlike
it's,
Faisal, or wherever she's staying.
Yes,
Is that the name?
that is. Yeah, that is where she's staying.
I don't know how everyone can be staying on the back of a small immigrant mouse. Was he called Faisal?
Fievel.
Fievel.
Okay. Oh boy. I'm not getting anything right today.
You're fine.
Faisal goes west is basically this storyline though.
Except it's not. It's
Faisal refuses to go west.
Faisal refuses to go west.
Yeah.
Even after. Yeah. So look, they cut right to the chase. They go for hummus, which is different to the hummus that we understand.
When she was describing hummus, you were all like, yeah, we all know what fucking hummus is, okay? We don't.
I know, but I was
And
wrong.
then she was like, it's a lemon
Broth.
drink with chickpeas in it, and we all just gagged. It sounded gross.
I don't want to turn my nose up at it because I sort
Sure.
of, if I think about it like a tagine or something, like that's,
you
I
don't
like
drink
tagine.
it, and you don't have it with a straw.
I would if
It's like a boba situation a little bit in that, right? Like a cup with a straw and there's big floaty balls in it.
Oh,
that
I
you gotta
love
suck
bubble
down.
tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do the chickpeas go up the straw?
The straw didn't look big enough
how
for that. That
wide
was the
is-
thing.
I think we're ignoring the most.
Is it like a slushy kind of? You
We
remember
are
them with the
ignoring
little
the
we're
most-
spoons?
ignoring the most critical element of this romantic
The ambiance.
dating, which is that it's on an off ramp
Like on a
on a
bridge on like the side of a highway.
of a freeway. Yeah.
Yeah, it's convenient. You can have your hummus and then throw yourself off it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was maybe the bleakest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that was hard to watch. Like that was
I would have been terrified sitting there because there wasn't like, oh, and then there's like the divider between us and
Yeah.
the traffic.
nope.
But here's the thing, like, because I had exactly the same thought. Like, surely a car's just gonna go right, and then I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a car just drive off a bridge, so that doesn't really happen, right? It's not gonna happen, and yet it felt so unsafe, and I don't quite know why.
But it could happen. That's the thing. It could happen.
I just want a little space
no more
between
than
me in the cars.
It couldn't happen any more than seats outside a cafe on a street.
I actually was in a car that almost drove off of a bridge,
Shit.
but then the guardrail stopped us.
I was on a bus that drove off a mountain.
Okay, I guess you win this round.
Halfway. It was like the Italian Job. The front wheels, this is in the Alps between France and Italy. And the front wheels of the bus went over the edge of this mountain pass. And we all had to get to the back of the bus.
Like a Beetlejuice situation.
Like Beetlejuice, the Italian Job, pick your movie metaphor. Yeah, I mean, it was the full scales of justice thing going on. And yeah, we had to smash a window at the back of the bus and get out that way.
How old were you?
About 8.
Why didn't they just have you run to the back?
Genius. Is that a Robin was a fat kid joke? That is so good. Because my sister was also on the bus and she was already there.
Sorry.
Wow.
I am sorry.
Wow.
We're going to get letters for that.
It's okay because it's me you're talking about. You're allowed to. And I'm allowed to be mean about my sister.
Yeah, look, these
Yeah, it was
Basically
horrible.
drank a hot chickpea drink in oncoming traffic for a romantic night out.
Yeah, and I will say there are very few cafes that are on the side of a freeway. Like
Sure.
You're talking about a street, fine, but like those cars are ideally not going 80 miles an hour.
In Cairo, they probably are, though.
For me, it's the pollution as well. It's like
That's-
inhaling all the fumes and everything.
That was more it.
And like the wind from the cars going by was just like blasting her hair into her face and stuff. Like,
Yeah. People throwing
yeah.
the cups of drunk hummus out of the window.
Like she's she has what I might generously describe as a nervous disposition to begin with, and I just can't imagine why that would be a fun, relaxing evening.
It's like what Stanley Kubrick did to Shelley Duvall when they
Yeah.
were filming The Shining to take her there for a drink.
But she has well done, because I've been trying to put my finger on what it is about her. She's got that Shelley Duvall twitch, right? That nervous energy. She's so Shelley Duvall
In The Shining.
in The Shining.
Well, yeah, that's the relationship she's in right now.
Kind of
It's
is.
not good.
No, it isn't. It isn't good. It was that meeting with Nuran also, and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. That was difficult to watch too. It felt very kind of forced, or it felt like, I mean, obviously, I think this was something that the producers suggested to make him angry. I don't think Mahmoud is a good enough actor to have been able to, fake that interaction, but I was surprised that it heated up that quickly, and that because normally when you meet someone for the first time, you don't directly get into ideological arguments.
You don't, but here's my little theory on that one.
Okay.
You know how, like, I've come at the producers of this whole franchise for the way they consistently have this storyline of, ooh, Islamic man is restrictive and isn't Islam awful, right? Because there is a bit of that. Mm-hmm. Only insofar as they constantly just choose the same story, right? And just go on about it. And I've been down on it, but now I'm wondering whether in the production meeting before they cast this or whatever, they were like, we've done this a few times. Let's show the other side. And now I'm wondering if this whole storyline has been set up to redress the balance and show that Islam isn't just what they've shown it as for so many years now.
Yeah,
I think it's
that's
all
really interesting.
been gearing up to this moment where, you know, this lady has said, cite the verse, motherfucker. Cite the verse. Where in the Quran does it actually say that? Or is this just the spin, the interpretation you've chosen to put on it? And I'm not an expert either way, but he certainly couldn't cite the verse. I don't know someone who's more learned could, but
I don't think there is. I think, and
I have heard this argument.
I have heard the argument as well that it is a cultural thing rather than a religious requirement. But I don't know enough about Islam to much like porn. I don't feel I have the authority to speak on that.
Is there like a MILF Island version of?
No.
Okay.
There definitely isn't.
There definitely isn't.
No. But I was kind of thrilled. I'll be honest with you. I was at least thrilled that the show gave airtime to a different point of view in that religion that I do feel they've shat on now for several years in a row. So.
Yeah, I agree completely. Yeah, she was nice. I don't care if she's an actress. I don't care if they put her in there to facilitate that story. I'm just glad that she was there and she was representing another side even of the city that they live in, because I did think it was strange that
yeah.
I don't know.
Egypt is not the most authoritarian country in the world. Yeah.
Any other thoughts on Nicole and Mahmoud?
Yeah, I think I don't know anything that's happened before this thing that I saw today, but
the same thing.
It just seems like she's not in a good place. Maybe it's not a relationship that's healthy for her. And from what I know from my personal experience, I think it's very good that she found somebody who was like, yeah, I see what you're going through, and it's not good, and it so that you can, because you get so, it's easy to get so like trapped in the world of your own relationship that you don't really realize that it's like messed up, and it's good to like start having people from the outside world go, oh no, that's all, it is bad. So I'm glad that is happening for her. Maybe she can start to see that she doesn't necessarily need to be eating fruit salad on her bed while her mother-in-law stares at her for 12 hours a day.
The mother-in-law, I mean,
she's nice.
That visual gag, because it does feel like it's become a gag, because the mother-in-law is always
in the doorway, in the
background, always through the doorway. I mean, I think, look, I know this couple is widely reviled. I still can't get over the faces that he makes sometimes.
He went maximum Prince.
He really did.
This week. He has got he cannot hide his feelings in any way.
No, not at all.
Even though he knows he's supposed to say other things, his face just does this. What? all the time in the background. It's I adore his Prince side eye.
Yeah. And he was, I thought it was interesting that he wasn't looking at Nuran when he was talking to her. He like actually had his head turned.
He was like a dog.
Like this.
You know how dogs can't look you in the eye, particularly when you cross with them. They have to look to the side of you.
Not our dogs.
Yeah, otherwise
Our
it's a
dogs
confrontation
don't give a
there.
shit.
Oh, Tig, absolutely. Like when you tell her she look well, but it's hey, pack leader. What can I say?
Guess so. Let's talk about, okay, so nothing else on them. Also, Emerald, I completely agree with you there that the only thing I would add about, you know, it being valuable having someone else's perspective is that it's amazing how when one is in an abusive relationship, how quickly you normalize things that aren't, and how easily you normalize things that aren't okay. And it doesn't matter how smart you are or how many Lifetime movies you've seen or how I'm speaking on my own behalf, but I think I'm speaking for a lot of people. It really doesn't, anyone can end up in, I'm not calling Nicole and Mahmoud's relationship abusive because I don't know it, but what I'm saying is anybody can end up in a coercive or controlling relationship or a relationship that's bad for them and get stuck in it. It doesn't mean that you're stupid. It doesn't mean that you're naive. It can happen to anyone because we are all human and we make ourselves vulnerable to someone else, and it just
And it becomes sunk loss fallacy, right? That you have to undo so much. I mean, we'll get to it, but like Jen is like the greatest example of this, right?
Yeah, it's also, and once you're in a situation like that, to be like isolated is sort of how it's like a great way to perpetuate the relationship. And so to like move all the way to like Egypt and then just be stuck in your in-laws' house all day, like that's like the most isolated you could be other than like the in-laws aren't there and you're just alone in the house.
Right.
You know, it's like so isolated. So it's good to like.
I don't know. That's even more isolating, isn't it?
Because
like some of you don't speak the same language, but they're just in the doorway watching you eating the fruit salad.
And making sure that you're wearing sleeves while you do it.
Right?
Yeah.
Could you pass me the Vin and a Sin?
Yeah. Of course I can.
We're being very classy today.
I know. You guys, I don't know if anybody has any suggestions for this, but I've reached a point in my life where wine now gives me almost instant acid reflux, and I don't really, I'm not a huge fan of liquor. I mean, apart from gin, which I would drink like water, so I try to avoid it for that reason. I just really love the way it smells and tastes. Yeah. And
well, try putting some chickpeas in it and see how you feel.
Heat it up a little and put some chickpeas in there and see.
No, on Easter Sunday I had my first alcoholic drink in months. But it's not because I have a problem with alcohol. Part of it is, I've been changing medications, but I feel like now I'm all right to drink, but I can't because my reflux is so bad. So now you all know a lot about me and my history and my reflux. So speaking of maladies, let's talk about Chris and Jamie.
My ladies.
I hadn't even thought of that.
There you go.
It was more like, who else might have a problem with, might have a dozen...
oh, God. Chris has got massive reflux problems, right? If there's an ailment, she's got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So just to recap, Chris's bank account is frozen because the bank, allegedly, because someone thought
Bullshit.
her identity was stolen.
Bullshit.
She's concerned about the finances. She does reveal to us in her to camera interview that she didn't really consider whether this was a practical dream or not when she was dreaming up this dream. So they look at some food trucks, one of which is pretty interesting. We'll talk about that, and have a difficult dance lesson, and ultimately Chris decides to go back without a return ticket, which is the reddest of all the preceding red flags.
Where do you want to start?
The zombie school bus.
The zombie school bus for sure.
Ever eaten in a place that has got a sign that says danger contaminated zone?
And just blood splatters all over everything.
I think it was ketchup. Nah. I can see it. I can see Alfie wanting to eat in the murder truck.
You don't think that food and zombies doesn't immediately conjure a specific kind of meat?
Yeah, I'm thinking Bob Stuckey shouting tainted meat. And all my Walking Dead peeps will get that reference, which is lots. We've established this.
We have, yeah. There's a big overlap between Walking Dead fans and fans of 90 Day Fiance, as it turns out.
Surprisingly, I've never seen, I should say unsurprisingly, I also haven't seen Walking Dead.
It's okay. I only watched the first 3 seasons and then the very last episode.
It's a very similar show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, we have a car in our neighborhood that that is sort of zombie themed, and I assume it's owned by somebody who owns a business where, I don't know, you get chased by zombies. It's a team building thing, maybe. And it says
it's either that or the guy has genuinely prepared for the zombie apocalypse.
Well, it says on the side of the car, danger, like body parts, infected body parts on board or something like that. And I've never gotten used to it.
Which is a different sticker from the baby on board stickers. To be fair.
Which, by the way, people, there's a mistaken belief that people think, fine, I'm supposed to treat you better because there's a baby in the car. It's in case you're in a car accident and the ambulance or whomever get there, they need to be aware that there's a baby in a car seat.
You see, I thought it was always telling me not to ram that car. That's not what it's for.
No, that's not what it's for.
There's not a zombie car in my old neighborhood in Chicago, but there is call it the Tazmobile. And it's
Tasmanian Devil?
Yes, Taz. Taz. And it's just
that just sounds like the guy she gave a bologna sandwich to.
It's a bright yellow SUV, and it just has Taz stickers.
Okay.
All over it. And the license plate is Taz 2. And there's Taz all over the place. Anyway, it's not zombies, but that's the one that's in my old neighborhood. I wouldn't want to eat in the zombie bus.
I'd eat in a Taz bus.
I would eat in a Taz bus.
What kind of food do they sell in Tasmania?
Tasmanian food?
Oh, maybe I wouldn't eat
Tasmanian food good?
I mean, it's Australian food. I'm guessing.
I like Australian food. Have you ever had kangaroo?
I would guess that Tasmanian food is Australian food, but worse.
Wow. Counting on Tasmania.
I wish I had a horn in my bag.
Yeah, no, that truck looked horrific. And not for the reasons it wanted to look horrific. It looked horrific just in the sense that it was squalid and run down and it wasn't worth $20,000.
But I think this is the perfect metaphor for how Chris makes decisions. Like she goes in and she says we need to think about the menu, how much it would cost to run, how much, and you think, okay, so she's thinking ahead.
But she won't do those things.
She's not going to do it. No. And she's ignored the most critical facet of this whole business, which is that it's on a zombie bus.
Sure.
And you're presumably going to be serving people meat. I just don't, that's not a gimmick that works for me.
It is. You can have zombie burgers, for example, and it's like you just like the names of all of the things on the menu are puns. There
were machetes on the wall, and you were telling me about her knife collection.
Yeah,
that's probably what did it.
That is what did it. She saw the weapons. Yeah. She said when she got they got weapons. She loved it.
I feel like you should know your menu and just like those kinds of like costs
first
before you look at the $20,000 zombie bus.
Well, that's right. You should think, what are we going to do? What can we cook? What's affordable? You do all the budget and all that kind of thing. And then you go, and now what vehicle can deliver this vision? Not the other way around. It's very odd. But what you were saying before, Michelle, is absolutely right, that she is one of these people that she'll have this great vision, this dream and everything, and then she will include all of these reasons for her not to do anything about it, and then just go, oh, it's too difficult, and then she'll run away.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I definitely didn't do all through my 20s.
I'm not doing that still.
30s. I'm not doing. I am actually only not doing it still because I'm being so conscious of the fact that that's all I ever do.
What am I doing?
How did I get here? This is not my beautiful life. This is not my beautiful wife.
Good. Thank you, David. I thought they were mean to her at the dancing lessons, though. There is nothing worse than people that can do dance saying to the person, well, you just do good dancing.
I have a very informed perspective on this because I just took salsa dancing classes this last summer.
Yeah.
I'm not in the middle of a midlife crisis. With my clown, with packing up and moving to Europe to study device theater and taking salsa dancing lessons. I'm not. It's just, it happens to, what a coincidence. It's like my birthday. Anyway, and like, yeah, I mean, she was being a bit of a downer, but also like, that was, if she's literally never salsa danced before, they were going way too fast for someone who, you know, like, be a good teacher.
I think maybe start with Zumba also, where you don't really have to know how to dance to be able to do it.
Because it wasn't just like, and your hip goes this way. The hips were going in 3 directions at once. It was that next level fluidity that you can't just expect an amateur to be able to do.
Really got to start with just like the really basic little salsa march.
Yeah.
And then just work, and then once they can kind of shuffle that, then you can like fine tune it. But they were just like, yeah, and then it does this and that, and then they both are just dancing super fast, and then they were going like sideways and this ways and that ways. It wasn't very
inclusive.
It was not the easiest first salsa dance class a person could take.
No.
And she looked absolutely miserable.
Really miserable. And then she got told off for being miserable. And I thought that was kind of mean because I'd have been miserable if I had to do that.
I think if I had been there, I would have been like, can you stop? I probably would have been like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Honestly, is what I probably would have said. Like, how do you honestly expect me to do that? Can we just slow things down a bit, you know?
Like, is this some kind of a prank? Like, where's the camera? Oh, okay, the camera crew's just over there. All right, fine.
Yeah, that can't make things easy.
No. So there was that.
Yeah, this episode.
What were the other beats with them that you listed so graciously?
And then,
so we had the food truck, we had the dancing, and then obviously we had the Exodus. But there's another bit of there?
No, they just talked about. Jamie says that Chris needs to change the chip in her head.
Oh, right.
I think Chris maybe needs to go to therapy to deal with some of her trauma before anyone can talk to her about not being so negative. I don't know. But also Chris is being willfully dishonest here, which I don't appreciate. I think it's a really shitty thing to do not to leave without buying a return ticket.
It will be a maximum of 2 weeks. So buy a return ticket for 2 weeks. But what if I can come in 13 days? That would be insane to have a ticket for the next day.
Yeah, and Jamie understandably says that if Chris doesn't come back, she will sell her shit.
Yeah.
I would have said, I will burn it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what I would say.
But then I also wouldn't marry someone who really didn't want to be with me.
Well, she leaves her necklace, jewelry, bracelet, something.
Some kind of bauble. But she's lousy with baubles.
So I'll come back for this. She should have left her knife.
Right?
Something which has real sentimental value. She should have left her father's stolen vintage antique motorcycle.
Well,
something she really
we all know
cared
that's
about.
never coming back.
Oh, hello, this is Robin. Guess what? We've gone super long, so we're going to chop this podcast into two. You'll find part 2 where you found part 1, but we'll let you go and do something else for a minute. Off you, Todd.